Hello and welcome to Deep Rock Galactic. Today I'd like to outstretch 10 helpful tips that I wish I knew starting out, and hopefully these can help you along your journey a little bit, starting with the most important, rock and stone. Everybody knows rock and stone. You just joined the game, rock and stone. Kill a Praetorian, rock and stone. Blow up your teammates, rock and stone. Even Bosco gets it. Look at him. Look how happy he is. It's great. The most reliable tool in your entire arsenal, other than your firearms of course, is your laser pointer. This can tell you what you're looking at, and some basic information about it, in the light or in the dark. It can also reveal your teammates through walls, if you're playing in multiplayer.
Flares up! Weapon ready!
Other than the obvious credit pricing for items, there's also mineral costs for most upgrades, cosmetics, equipment, and all other unlocks in the game. As you can see, these are simply listed with numbers and a symbol next to them indicating which mineral they are. Now this may be a bit confusing as first, as it doesn't clarify what exactly they are. You can find this information about what these materials are and where to find them in the Planetary Regions tab of the Miner's Manual. Every region has a different abundant and scarce mineral, so if you're targeting a specific one, it would be wise to visit a planetary region where it's at least scarce, if present at all. One of the best things to know going into any mission is what's going to draw the bugs to you. Every mission behaves slightly differently in the way swarms are spawned, so let's look at them individually. Morkite missions are the most simple of all, time-based and completely linear. Nothing you do affects when a swarm spawns, so go as fast as you can, and you'll get out before they get you. Eggs are slightly different. Every time you remove an egg from the wall, it has a chance to either spawn a large wave or an entire swarm. Slightly different from that is salvage, in that every time you interact with a mini mule, either repairing it completely or just putting one leg on, it will start a short timer that at the end of which will spawn a large wave. Coin extraction is like a more intense version of Morkite mining, in that over time the swarm will grow more and more intense until you can't handle it anymore. Elimination, however, has no swarms at all, just large waves very occasionally. And last but not least, a deep dive is a combination of these mechanics. The primary deep dive objective will determine which type of swarm mechanic you have, while the secondary can interact with this on its own. For example, if your primary objective is to mine Morkite, it will spawn swarms over time. However, if there are eggs in the mission as well, these can spawn their own swarms. Many veteran players have missed this one for hundreds of hours even. So, if you go to your armor upgrades, you'll notice there is a milestone at the bottom, every 3 upgrades for plus 5 health. This doesn't only include active upgrades, but ones that you bought but are not using. As you can see, I bought 3 upgrades in the same tier. I can only use one of them, however, owning all 3 has made me earn an additional 5 max health. This can be done up to 3 times, gaining you 15 points of max health.
Now that's money well spent. Mod acquired. Yes.
regards to your assignments, you can play them with any class and on any difficulty, including ones that you might think otherwise. For example, unlocking the gunner's alternate primary weapon can be done with any class. However, there is one exception to this. Unlocking Hazard 5 requires you to play on Hazard 4 for the duration of the assignment. Thankfully, in a recent update, they added some text where if you attempt to start one of these missions on too low a difficulty, it does tell you that it won't count, although that text is still very small and may be easy to miss. So make sure that when you are trying to unlock Hazard 5, you're running the assignment missions on Hazard 4.
Mission selected and locked in. Time to board the drop pod.
Before setting out on a particularly difficult mission, stop by the Abyss Bar and pick up a buff. The first beer on the list, labeled Today's Special, will always give you a buff for one mission. These vary greatly and may not be useful for the mission you're going on, so make sure to read them, because they do cost barley bulbs every time. These can be particularly hard to come by starting out. It's also worth noting that it costs malt stars, yeast cones, and starch nuts to unlock the buff the first time, and every subsequent purchase only costs barley bulbs. The barley bulb price does change depending on which buff it is. I'll now show a few short clips of these ingredients out in the wild.
Light is up. Lights up.
As you may have learned from the title, I believe Quick Join was a mistake. It is a remnant of this game's earlier days and should likely be removed, but I digress. This is the server list and how you access it. You can see all public games and how many players are in them. These are the games that are full. And now moving to the actual Quick Join menu. We can see that you pick a random set of parameters and then connect to a game, not knowing exactly what you're getting into. Meanwhile, the server list exists, and you can go in with the knowledge of what's going on. Don't use Quick Join. It's trash. Very important thing to know is what you're looking at on the mission select screen. For example, there you can tell planetary regions, missions that are available, and also the accessible information of what minerals are scarce and abundant in a particular region. There's the mission reset time, so you will get a random set of missions again when that timer is up. And you can also see how many games are active in a particular region by the number with the little rocket symbol next to it. Moving on to the server list. Every game has a unique set of information about it that it's important to be able to understand. So, looking at this game, for instance, we can see that it is a point extraction in glacial strata. Those are the minerals that are present in that region, so if you want those, you would want to join that game. You can see how long the mission has been active for, which in this case is a very short amount of time, and if they are in the space rig, it will read NA. This guy has no mission selected. Moving on to Hazard, this is the difficulty level for the game. This guy is playing on the second highest difficulty, so it might be a bad idea to join that if you're new. Cave complexity, as it says complexity. Cave complexity is how complicated the region will be. Length is how much you have to do to complete the objective. And last but not least, you can see the team composition and how many open seats there are, as well as where the server is located relative to you, as the servers in this game are peer-to-peer, so this may affect your ping. Scrolling through the list, you can see this information is present for every game. So say if I wanted to fill a team and I wanted to play Driller, for instance, I would join this game because it is on Hazard 2 and there's an open seat and they don't have a Driller. I highly advise you to join communities based around this game. While this isn't really a DRG tip, but it will definitely lead you to more good information around this game. Both the subreddit and the official Discord are very active, with members creating great content and also looking to play the game. I would avoid the Steam forums personally. For some reason there's a lot of unnecessary toxicity there. However, the subreddit and the Discord are great places, great people, and you can easily network with some new players or some experienced players that would be willing to help you out. So that's all I've got for you today, but I am planning on making a more detailed guide to every class and some gameplay micro techniques that may help you out in the long run, as well as some tips for more experienced players in the future. So consider subscribing for that, or don't. I'm not your dad after all. Alright, have a good one.